Apollo 13 launched from Kennedy Space Center on April 11, 1970, rising into the sky on a pillar of fire. Commander Jim Lovell was leading his fourth space mission. This time, he hoped it would finally take him onto the moon. Alongside Lovell were Fred Hayes and Jack Swigert, both skilled and well-prepared. The Saturn V rocket thundered upward as millions watched. It felt like just another confident step in NASA's lunar program. The first 2 days in space passed calmly. The crew conducted system checks and chatted casually with mission control. There was no sign that anything was wrong. Television broadcasts showed relaxed astronauts floating inside the spacecraft. Jokes were exchanged with Earth. The mission appeared smooth and routine. Mission Control requested a standard procedure on the third day. Jack Swigert was asked to stir the oxygen tanks. It was a task performed many times before without incident. Moments after the switch was flipped, a violent explosion rocked the spacecraft. Warning alarms lit up instantly. The calm was shattered in a heartbeat. Jim Lovell looked out the window and saw a cloud of oxygen venting into space. The spacecraft was bleeding life. Something catastrophic had happened. Lovell picked up the microphone and spoke steadily. His words would become legendary. "Houston, we have a problem." Inside Mission Control, the room went silent. Engineers struggled to understand what they were seeing. Data streams showed systems failing one by one. One oxygen tank had exploded completely. The second tank was rapidly losing pressure. Power generation was collapsing. Without oxygen, the fuel cells could not operate. Electrical systems began shutting down. The moon landing was immediately canceled. Apollo 13 was no longer an exploration mission. It was now a fight for survival. The crew was hundreds of thousands of kilometers from Earth. Engineers realized the command module could not keep them alive. Its power and life support would soon fail. A radical decision had to be made. Mission Control instructed the crew to shut down the command module. They would use the lunar module as a lifeboat. It had never been intended for this role. The lunar module was designed for 2 men for 2 days. Now it had to support 3 men for 4 days. Supplies were dangerously limited. The astronauts moved carefully into the lunar module. Every switch mattered. Darkness and cold began to surround them. With power reduced, heaters shut down. The temperature inside dropped close to freezing. Condensation formed on the walls. Water had to be rationed strictly. Food intake was reduced to survival levels. Hunger became constant. Sleep was nearly impossible in the cramped, cold cabin. Fatigue built with every hour. Still, focus never broke. A new danger soon emerged inside the spacecraft. Carbon dioxide levels began rising. Toxic air threatened to suffocate the crew. The available filters did not fit the system. The shapes were incompatible. Time was running out. On Earth, engineers worked desperately. Spare parts were scattered across tables. Creativity replaced routine engineering. Using cardboard, plastic bags, tape, and hoses, they built an improvised filter. It looked crude, but was effective. Instructions were rushed to the astronauts. The crew followed each step precisely. Slowly, carbon dioxide levels dropped. Clean air returned. Navigation became the next challenge. The explosion had knocked Apollo 13 off course. Precision was vital. With onboard computers shut down, manual navigation was required. The crew used the Sun and Earth as reference points. Human skill replaced technology. Each engine burn had to be exact. A small error could send them into deep space. Tension filled every moment. As they spaced, the cold worsened. Ice formed inside the spacecraft. Bodies weakened. Jim Lovell thought often of his family. He kept his voice calm for them. Fear stayed hidden. Mission Control worked non-stop in rotating shifts. Engineers slept on floors and chairs. Everyone shared one goal. Apollo 13 passed around the far side of the moon. Communication with Earth was lost temporarily. Silence filled the cabin. When contact returned, relief spread instantly. The spacecraft was finally heading home. But danger remained. Re-entry required powering up the dead command module. This had never been attempted under such conditions. New procedures had to be invented. Engineers designed a minimal power-up sequence. Every watt mattered. There was no room for mistakes. The crew followed the instructions slowly. Systems came online one by one. Hope cautiously returned. Before re-entry, the service module was jettisoned. For the first time, the damage was visible. An entire panel was missing. The explosion had been devastating. Survival now felt miraculous. Timing had saved their lives. Next, the lunar module was released. It had served as their lifeboat. The crew silently thanked it. Re-entry into Earth's atmosphere was the final test. If the heat shield was damaged, they would burn up. No one could know. The capsule slammed into the atmosphere at extreme speed. Plasma surrounded it in fire. Radio contact was lost. Normally, the blackout lasted 3 minutes. This time, it stretched longer. Fear gripped Mission Control. Families watched their screens in silence. Engineers stared at the clock. Seconds felt endless. Then a signal broke through. Apollo 13 was alive. Cheers erupted across the world. Parachutes deployed high above the Pacific Ocean. The capsule descended safely. The nightmare was over. Apollo 13 splashed down on April 17, 1970. Recovery teams reached the capsule quickly. All 3 astronauts were alive. Jim Lovell, Fred Hayes, and Jack Swigert emerged, exhausted. They were thinner and weaker, but they were smiling. Apollo 13 never landed on the moon. It became one of NASA's greatest achievements. Survival replaced exploration. NASA later called it a successful failure. Human intelligence overcame disaster. Teamwork saved lives. Investigations revealed a damaged wire caused the explosion. A small flaw led to massive danger. Details mattered. Apollo 13 reshaped space safety forever. Systems were redesigned. Lessons were learned. The phrase "Houston, we have a problem" became iconic. It symbolized calm in crisis, courage under pressure. Jim Lovell never walked on the moon, but he led a mission that inspired the world. His legacy went beyond space. Apollo 13 proved that humans adapt under extreme pressure. When plans collapse, thinking survives. Hope endures. 3 men trusted thousands on Earth. Thousands trusted 3 men in space. That trust saved them. This was not a story about reaching the moon. It was a story about coming home against impossible odds. Apollo 13 remains a reminder to humanity. Survival is built on preparation and unity. Come minds, change history.